Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to showcase how above average players make use of their mobility to relocate after a position is about to get lost in order to stay alive, continue to make damage, get better results and eventually turn around a game. Let's go. A couple of weeks ago, I talked to a guy who also plays World of Tanks and he told me that his results were better in the Jagdtiger than compared to the Scorpion, arguing that the Scorpion is not a better tank tier for tier. In my opinion, the point is that this player is simply unable to make use of the biggest strength of the Scorpion, which, despite his fantastic firepower, is mobility. In fact, so many players do not know why mobility can be so powerful in World of Tanks. It lets you relocate when a position is about to get lost and therefore to stay in the game and continue to make damage. This way, your results will be much better because even in a game which is lost, you will be able to make decent amounts of damage. In many cases, managing to stay alive will even give yourself the chance of winning the game. So let me show you what I mean with some gameplay. Alright, here we are in the first game. We are spawning on El Haluf in the Concept 5, and let's first of all take a look at the map and see where the strategic position is located. Spawning on El Haluf, in my opinion, the strategic position of this map is right here where the brawling area is in the north. So of course, with a tank like the Concept 5, you can go to a TD position like so, and simply try to snipe to the adversary team. But once again, in my opinion, the strategic position is right here. And so what I like to do is I like to support my heavy tanks and my medium tanks right here in order to win this important position, because then further on you can go like this and move into the adversary base. Alright, so of course there are multiple options in a tank like the Concept 5, which is an excellent sniper on this map. Of course you can go to the southern lane, you can go aggressively down to where the T100 LT is pushing. You can go to a typical TD position, let's say to the K7 position for example, and so on and so forth. But in my opinion, in general, and I do this not only with sniping medium tanks or with tank destroyers, but also with heavy tanks, also even with light tanks here and there, I want to help my team to win the strategic position, the position which I think is most important for the game development, because this increases the chance of winning the game. So I do not want to go where the Batchat 25 TAP is going, but I want to go to this position here and support the heavy tanks. Now I'm trying to use my mobility in order to arrive here first, because I know there are always kind of below average players who are pushing to the A1 position. Here you go, that's what I want to see. Nice, and I get the first shot, a little low roll here. Very unfortunate, but that's how it is. I want to go to this position, arrive here first, and then punish those players who make such mistakes. That's what I want to do. And now, of course, I do not have any armor whatsoever. And yes, I can, like, my gun is very useful over the distance, over greater distances. But I can perfectly fine work here as well on a ridgeline in the brawling area alongside the heavy tanks. The only thing I need to make sure is that I conduct second line gameplay. Now, what do I mean with second line gameplay? Oh, thanks a lot. Another shot, nice. Another low roll. What do I mean with second line gameplay? Well, I want to wait until my heavy tanks have taken a shot, have best case taken a shot from the adversary tanks, and then I'm using the reload time of the adversary tanks in order to take my shot, and this way I will not take any damage whatsoever. Now please take a look at the minimap and see how aggressively the adversary tanks are playing. So let's pause here real quick. Here we go. Let's take actually this shot. Let's pause here real quick and let's now take a look at the minimap. So the T100E4 from our team, the Jagdtiger, and then also the, currently cluttered, those tanks could also perfectly fine, perfectly well brawl here at the brawling area, but they are not. And so we have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks here, and the adversary team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, also 8 tanks. However, they are basically playing much more aggressively, and it seems that they are about to push us out from this position. So that's what I wanted to make sure that I incorporate here into my little speech. So okay, can we take another shot? This tank is also playing super aggressively, and now this tank, the 50 60 TP has managed, sorry, the 50 TP has managed to go into this position. So of course I do not want to brawl in my tank, and so that's the moment where I want to retreat. Now, why do I want to retreat? Because I want to get more damage, and I do not want to basically lose all my HP in a 1v1 brawling fight, because the strength of my tank is my precise gun plus the ability to conduct second line gameplay. But if I trade my HP right here, I will basically have no chance, and I will simply be taken out of the game. So I fall back in order to support my team from the rear. This way I will manage to stay alive, plus I get the chance of making more damage, and so my results will simply be better. But not only will my results be better, I will also have the chance to support my team longer in the game, and so to increase the chance for my team to win the game. There's no use if you simply stay in your position, and if you get taken out by the adversary tanks, then you have no use whatsoever for your team. And so, here you go, nice. And so in a medium tank, especially in a tank which has no armor, it is useless to stay at the brawling area and brawl frontally against adversary heavy tanks and conduct, let's say, first line gameplay, gameplay. But what you want to do is you want to relocate to a position so that you can constantly use your precise gun to make damage to the adversary team. This is the playstyle that you should do, not only in a medium tank but also in other fast tanks. No matter if it is a tank destroyer, for example the Scorpion, or if it is a tank, for example, like the Concept 5, or maybe the Leopard PTA or Leopard 1. You want to relocate, you want to make use of your mobility. That's the key message. Of course, if you're playing in a slow tank, most likely slow tanks do have a great armor, then you cannot relocate because you will not make it in time. But the opposite is true for tanks like the Concept 5. You have the speed, you have the mobility to do so, and so you should make use of this possibility, and then you can basically exploit the strength of your tank, which is, as I said, mobility. So yeah, that's what we have done. We have relocated, and so we could continuously make damage. Let's see, now we can actually do some sniping towards the Stritzwagen. Nice, and bam, now he's trying to run away after he has changed his mode, his travel mode, whatever you call it. And let's see, that was actually not the best aiming, but we could manage to take him out. And so yeah, I think with our help, with our continuous damage that we made to the adversary team, we actually helped our team to turn around the game, and we made 3,600 damage. Now, in my opinion, this is why above average players are so successful, because even if the strategic position is lost because the adversary team is more aggressively, has more tanks at the strategic position, above average players manage to relocate and still get a decent result in such a game. Now, you will not win every game if the adversary team manages to win the strategic position, but you can at least get a better result in your tank. So let's take a look at the second game and see another example on how and when you can relocate in order to get more damage and eventually also help your team to win the game. Alright, here we are in the second game. This time we're playing in the Scorpion, on safe haven, and let's now take a look at the map and see what options we have and where the strategic position is located on the map. Spawning on safe haven, this is how the game usually develops, and in my opinion this map does not have this distinct strategic position. So this position right here is a brawling area for heavy tanks, and with a tank like the Scorpion you would have to be extremely cautious if you would want to conduct second line gameplay. So you can either be very static at the rear of the map, which I do not recommend at all, or you can take part where the fight takes place in this portion of the map, either defensively here or more aggressively, maybe in this position, what I recommend, because from this position you can get crossfire to those heavy tanks here, and then also maybe punish adversary tanks once they are starting to push your flank. So as I just said, in my opinion the strategic position is not as clearly or as distinct like on El Haluf. What I would do in a medium tank, in a light tank, and as you can see also in a fast tank destroyer like the Scorpion, I want to play this tank more as a medium TD hybrid, and I want to go to a more offensive position. In my opinion, there's no use in staying at the rear of the map in a typical, let's say, tank destroyer position and not take part at the fight at the first minutes of the game. I want to be engaged and I want to bring my firepower to the fight as soon as possible. That's what I want to do. Now, if you take a look at the map, you see that quite some medium tanks do not support the southern portion of the map. There's only the CS44, the rest is in the middle, which is not the best choice if you ask me, but I like to go to this position because if those heavy tanks, the defender, if he moves back, I can get very early damage here in the game. Now, right from the get-go, we know that we are inferior in this position. So now the CS44 is even pushing forward aggressively, having no support whatsoever because there's only the light tank, myself, and can I get a shot? Okay, I'm spotted. Yeah, okay. I should not try to do vision games with the Scorpion simply because this tank has no spotting ability whatsoever. The camo value is insanely bad, and so yeah, I should concentrate on doing some sniping, maybe onto the defender. So yeah, the CS44 is pushing all the way into this little ditch super aggressively. Now this position is important. However, as we are most likely super inferior compared to the adversary team, that is not what I would recommend in such a situation. Okay, yeah, and here you go. The adversary team is pushing forward aggressively, taking out the CS44, and so we have to fall back. Yeah, okay, so let's fall back, and you know what? The best thing we can do is to pre-aim a certain position so that we can take a shot. Now with the Scorpion you always have to fully aim in your shots, and so you have to basically move around the corner and then set up a trap for your adversaries so that you can actually hit them. Okay, here you go. That's what I want to see. Maybe those tanks will... Here you go, and bam, a nice shot for the ELC even 90. And so now I want to relocate. Hopefully my reload... Okay, now I have a problem, but my light tank friend here in my platoon helps me out, and now I get a shot from the Sture Emil, which is very unfortunate, but nothing I can do about, and now I am back behind cover. So yeah, okay, we could take out the adversary light tank, which is super important in the game. Here you go, we could take a shot onto the T69, and so in my opinion, as you could see, we are super inferior, just as I forecasted a couple of minutes ago. And of course, in such a situation, we cannot stay at this position for the remainder of the game, but we need to relocate in order to keep our tank in the game and in order to make more damage. So far, we only made 963 damage, which is by all means not a decent result in a Scorpion. And so the golden rule, not only in the Scorpion, but in any other tank on the battlefield, is you want to maintain in the game as long as possible to make continuously damage. And so that's what I am suggesting in this video right here. Now, I'm not saying that you should play super defensively. because you always want to be engaged in the fight. And so play offensively, try to be engaged, try to be where the fight takes place. But at a certain point, you have to take a look at the minimap, and you have to always and continuously evaluate whether your team is losing on the flank where you are playing or not. And if you see first indications, then you have to even closer monitor the minimap. And at a certain point, you have to relocate, you have to use your mobility if you're playing, once again, in a very mobile tank. So, unfortunately, our team is melting like ice in the sun. But, you know what? I have managed to relocate. Unfortunately, I have lost basically, what is it, 40% of my HP. But I now managed to relocate into this position, from which I will certainly get at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 more shots. And so get maybe a decent result in the game. Now, I'm now telling my teammate, the LT432, to absolutely relocate, because it is way too risky to stay in the southern portion of the map. But unfortunately, here's even right now, and now the second T69 is also spotted. Okay, now he finally relocates, and hopefully he will manage to move down toward my position so that he can spot for myself. That would be awesome. Okay, looks like our team is even playing aggressively after having changed from a superior into an inferior position at the heavy lane. Okay, can I get a shot onto the defender? Here we go. With a little bit of luck and ING luck, we can manage to take out the defender. Okay, perfect. First kill for us. And now here go. Centurion 1 is making pressure. Can we take him out? Nice. So actually second kill, nice. And so yeah, with 2 kills, the game is actually now a bit more close. So let's see what our team does. Our light tank has managed to relocate and is maybe able to spot for ourselves, which is fantastic. The UDES 03 is also doing a fantastic job of relocating. He's also playing in a fast tank, and so he can and he is in this game making use of his mobility, which is excellent, and that's what you should do. That's the strength of a mobile tank, and in my opinion, you are much more flexible with mobility compared to having armor. So I would always choose mobility over armor if I had to choose in World of Tanks, and I think this makes those tanks like the Scorpion so strong, because you are flexible, you can adapt to the situation, and you can change the positions and therefore remain in the game, remain engaged in the fight, and continuously make damage until the end of the game, and thus have greater results, better results in World of Tanks. I think this is why above average players have so more consistent games, because they have the flexibility to do so, because they are playing mobile tanks and they are exploiting this strength. Alright, back to the game. So I was pretty lucky, and I could make some more nice shots. So now we already made 1798 damage. I'm telling the Chimera to fall back, because there's no sense in playing aggressively if you are one tank versus multiple opponents. But it looks like he is continuing to do so. Okay, so we will simply wait here and be patient. I'm also telling the UDES 14-5 to relocate, because he's also in a very dangerous position, if you ask me, with no support whatsoever. But we want to set up a defensive position right here, and we want to see whether we can get some more damage here in the game. Okay, looks like the Panther M10 is advancing. Nice. Now we want to clear the path for the UDES 03 so that he can take him out. Excellent. So UDES, thank you very much. And so yeah, the game is actually not lost yet, and so let's see what we can do. 2300 damage is a decent result already in the Scorpion. And now the UDES 14-5 advances all on his own and has no chance, in my opinion. Yeah, and now he's taken out. Okay, yeah, that's what you should not do if you want to play successfully in World of Tanks. Okay, I'm wondering when the the T69 platoon will finally play aggressively. So let's see. Now once again, I'm not suggesting to play such a position right from the get-go, but you should be where the fight takes place, but you should take a look at the minimap and see when time has come to relocate. I already made a couple of videos about this topic, so feel free to also check them out. And I think this video today is a good example on using mobility to stay alive, to stay in the game, and to then not only get better stats, but maybe eventually also turn around the game. So now they finally advance. Here you go. Unfortunately, this is behind the building, so not the best position I have taken as it appears. But looks like this player is actually making a mistake, and you know what? Let's blind fire this position. And as you can see, this was actually a hit because you couldn't see any dirt spilling around after the shot, after the shell impacted the ground, which you usually do. So this is a clear indication of a hit. So basically we now should have about 2,800 damage. Nice. And can we take out this tank? No. Okay, I'm now spotted most likely. Yep. So it's time to relocate. And let's see, can we take a shot onto the charioteer? No. Can we take a shot onto the... Yeah, our light tank is taken out. This is not good. But with a little bit of luck, the UDAS-03 manages to take out the Scorpion tier 7 tank. Okay, here we go. Nice. Okay, Scorpion is making pressure. That's excellent because now we can take him out. Let's fully aim in and bam. That is our third kill. Excellent. And now we are of course spotted. And now I need to play more aggressively. I need to consciously trade my remaining 700 HP. Because I do not want to be in a situation where I have to brawl against multiple tanks. Instead, I want to engage every tank one by one. Nice. So I could get a shot earlier onto the Sture Emil to take him out. Nice. So that's my fourth kill. Excellent. And now, most likely those two T69s will approach. Now, if the UDAS-03 player was a good player, he would also play super offensively and be where the fight takes place. But most of those players, here you go, most of those players are actually not playing very offensively. Now, one of the adversary tanks moved into our cap circle, indicating us that he is at this position. So, in other words, not rushing our position, which is good. And so we can concentrate on the remaining two tanks. Now, I want to do a little flanking maneuver and maybe take out the T69. One of them is now both are one-shottable, which is excellent. And keep in mind, I still have 700 HP. Nice. Okay, perfect. So with a little bit of luck of RNG, we managed to take out the T69. Now, as you can see, the UDAS-03 of the adversary team is still in the cap, which is excellent, which brings myself in a 1v1 situation. So not the best gameplay of the adversary team. He bounces. Okay, I do not know how you can bounce a shot on the Scorpion, but we are very lucky right here. 3,100 damage so far. Now I want to trick fuck the UDAS-03, indicating that I go to this corner, then turn around and go to the other side to maybe get the first shot advantage. Notice that he is a TD without a fully rotatable turret. Okay, he's now turned to the side towards the UDAS, and now I can get the kill shot. Here you go. Okay, perfect. 7 kills in the Scorpion. Keep in mind we had 1 blind shot, so 3,700 damage, and I think a perfect result for noticing when you are inferior at your flank, relocating to stay alive, to make more damage, and then eventually give yourself the chance to even turn around the game with making more damage to the adversary team and with constantly reducing the HP pool of the adversary team. Yeah, so the only thing we now want to do is we want to hunt down the adversary Arty. As the Arty player just took a shot, we exactly know where he should be. I want to flank him from the right hand side. from my perspective, because I do not want him to escape to the 8-1 position. Instead, I want him to go to the south so that he has to move uphill, which further reduces his speed. And so now I simply want to fully aim in and bam, 8 kills in a Scorpion. And simply with relocating, we were able to make about 4,100 damage in the Scorpion. So I think another fantastic result. And let's now jump into the last game. Okay, third and last game, once again in the Concept 5, and we're spawning on Malinovka in a tier 8 match, so a perfect matchmaking for this tank. But let's now take a look at the map and see where the strategic position is located. Spawning on Malinovka with the Concept 5, you have multiple options. In my opinion, the strategic position is the hill here at the northeastern portion of the map. And so yes, while you could go to this position, to a sniping position, maybe down to the south, in my opinion it makes sense to help your team to win the hill, simply because if you've managed to win the hill, chances are significantly increased to further win the game, because from the north you can actually go and proceed towards the enemy base, simply because this is a huge death zone which you do not want to cross by all means. So in my opinion, even with the Concept 5, it makes sense to support this portion of the map. Yes, so in my opinion, of course there are once again multiple ways to skin a cat, and of course you do not have to play the map exactly like this, but in my opinion, most of the time, if you can manage to win the hill, so the heavy lane actually on this map, you have a better chance of winning the game. And so this is why I want to basically support my team in winning this, what I call strategic position. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to, oh, and one thing I should mention, of course I know that if you're spawning from the south and if you win the hill, then there's this kind of death zone on the A lane, which you can easily defend if you're in the northern team. So it's easier to move towards the enemy base from if you're in the northern team than if you are in the southern team. I know, nonetheless, I do not want to give the adversary team the chance of doing so. But what I want to do is I want to once again use my speed to make early damage. So to go to this position and to spot adversary heavy tanks going to the hill, and then simply get the chance of getting first damage. Okay, let me pause here real quick. An early indication. Take a look at how many heavy tanks are proceeding onto the hill, the strategic position. There's the BZ, if I'm not mistaken, who is at the K3 position even, and there's the IS-32 also at the K2 position. So we are -2 when it comes to heavy tanks, and as it appears, all the adversary heavy tanks are proceeding on top of the hill. Plus on top, there's our heavy tanks, the E75 for example, and it appears that they take quite some time to proceed to the A0 position, and it appears even that they are making kind of a pause at the E0 position and waiting and not kind of trying to rush the hill. And so yeah, the ULAS 16 of the adversary team has already taken the hill, and so I do need to relocate, because once again, in such a tank you certainly do not want to brawl 1v1 because you do not have any armor. So in my opinion, we are now inferior at the what I call strategic position, so at the top of the hill. And so the only thing that makes sense in this situation is to relocate. Now I'm kind of afraid that the adversary team will manage to win the hill, take out our heavy tanks, and then basically win the game, because then they can more or less easily push down into our base. But what we can do is we can set up a defensive position, and this one here is excellent. If you knock down the trees, and to support the heavy tanks, which are trying to win the fight on the hill. So what I want to do now is I want to go into this position, go so much forward that the bushes are not transparent actually, so to spot those tanks. Maybe I get a bit of spotting damage alongside with those heavy tanks, and then as soon as one tank is spotted, I want to fall back so that the bush is not transparent anymore, so that I can get damage onto those tanks. And as I played the Concept 5 with the gun rammer, I managed to decrease the reload to about 10 seconds, and those are the golden 10 seconds which I need anyway to not be spotted once I take a shot. Actually, in this situation, I'm counting on not getting spotted the whole time, but that's a different story. So far it is pretty impossible to take a shot because, of course, those tanks are playing hull down. And can I get a shot onto the... No, I cannot with the GSO 1008. And so here go. Maybe those tanks make a mistake. Can I get a shot? Okay, I get at least an orange pen marker, but so far no success. And yeah, that's exactly what I forecasted. Our heavy tanks did not choose to rush the hill, so they are in an inferior position, and now they get taken out by the adversary tanks, and so we will most likely lose the hill. That's just how this map is designed, and that's just how it goes. But once again, if you see this, the solution for this is not to stay at the position and basically throw away your tank, but the solution is to fall back into a more defensive position from which you can basically take the adversary tanks under fire without having to trade HP. And that's exactly what I want to do in this position. Unfortunately, we could not take a single shot onto those tanks. Maybe now? No. Unfortunately, I tried to basically hit below the turret of the Super Conqueror. But that is a very low PK shot. Okay. So can we take a shot? No. Hopefully the Type 63 is now making a mistake. And here you go. Our first damage. Nice. Now all those heavy tanks have been taken out, so I am definitely the spotter for my team, and so I want to continue in this position. Can we take a shot onto the Cola? Nice. So first kill for us. Excellent. And I simply want to continuously spot the hill. Okay, this thing is... Continuously spot the hill. Okay, now he's making pressure and he's making a mistake. So quick spot here, and now I can take a shot into his lower hull, and that should be an easy pen. Yes. Okay, perfect. So you know what? Now he's hiding behind this tank, but I can try to get a shot onto his cupola. Okay, that was bad aiming by myself. 6-6. The game is relatively close, but you know what? Let's turn around the tank. I know that you know that the Concept 5 is pretty fast backwards, but nonetheless it is faster forwards, and so if I have to evade this out of this position, then of course I will be faster if my tank can go forward, and so that's what I want to do. Okay, now this tank is making hardcore pressure, so once again I do need to relocate. There's yet another position. The UDES 16 has managed to go to this rock, so I get spotted, and there's once again no sense in staying at this position, because you will simply be spotted throughout the game, and you will be in a brawling situation, in a situation where you have to rely on your armor, and that's not what you want to do in a tank like the Concept 5. So once again, use your mobility and relocate to another position. Now I want to knock down some trees to give myself a perfect defense position, and yes, I get pinged by players who, I don't know, have no idea how to play World of Tanks, but that's how it is. And I simply want to use my vision circles so that I can make sure that those tanks will maintain spotted, but I want to simply preserve my HP and stay alive until the end of the game, and so that I can make more damage and get better results in World of Tanks. And here you go. Nice, we can take out the GSO, which is excellent, and now we're even leading by 2 tanks, so 8-6. Very strange game, if you ask me. Now the IS-32 is making complete nonsense, if you ask me. The Bisonte C-45, a pretty capable hull-down tank, also did not go on top of the hill. The Vipera, a very strongly armored tank, also did not join the forces on the hill. So, completely not understandable. Okay, anyway. Okay, so we are now actually leading by 3 tanks, and I am kind of thinking of re-pushing the hill. There's the UDES 1416, which is at this position. Okay, fine. There's the Type 63. He should still be at the hill, and then all the rest of the tanks have been spotted, and the T110E4 is down at the south. And so I think sooner or later we can actually go on top of the hill and maybe go to the C5 position, so in the rear of the UDES 1516 and into the rear of the, what is it, GSOR? No, not the GSOR, the other UDES basically, in order to, yeah, that's exactly what the WZ120 player is also doing, and so I simply want to help him. So far, due to our relocation, we have managed to get 3000 damage and 1300 assisting damage, and we still are full HP, able to now consciously trade our HP to even win the game. And so, yeah, another example of why it is so important to use your mobility and to not stay at the same exact position for the whole game. So that's basically how you make use of your mobility. I think that's what I want to say all in all in this game. If you want to get examples of how to use mobility in order to be more successful, then this is basically what it is all about. Okay, I got spotted on the way of the hill, so for sure defensive players like the Hori will aim this position, so I'm trying to leave the hill like this. Fortunately, we get support by our team because, of course, our DPM is much worse compared to the T63. Now I can spot the Hori. Nice. He even doesn't spot me, which is excellent. And now let's see whether both the UDES tanks are still in the same position. So if so, we will simply farm them, and if not, okay, they've lost. Okay, they have both relocated. I'm spotted. The UDES tank is taken out. Excellent. So I think they have both relocated into the forest at the A lane, which is quite smart. But now, before I want to rush this position, and of course I will be the tank rushing in this position because I'm almost full HP, but I want to wait at least a little bit until my team has catched up, at least the WZ and the WoT player, so that I can get the support of this team. Okay, that's not good. I was counting on more support of my team, okay, which is not the case. I get another shot. Now I have 14 remaining HP, and I will simply hide here. The WZ is also making pressure, which is excellent, and now I can support him by getting crossfire onto the Hori, which is nice. And maybe I can take out this tank. So let me see, and nice. Okay, so we can take him out. And now the last tank on the battlefield is the UDES. He's now spotted. And yeah, we managed to get 4100 damage, 1800 assisting damage. So a fantastic, nice, another 400, a fantastic game in the Concept 5. And once again, we were able to use mobility to relocate even after we have lost the strategic position in order to continue to take part in the game, and later on even to win the game, simply because we continuously made damage to the adversary tanks. We maintained alive And yeah, that's how you win games, even if it doesn't look great at the beginning. Alright guys, that was it for today with the video about why mobility is so important in World of Tanks and why mobile tanks are so competitive and powerful in the current meta. What do you think about this topic? Would you say that you managed to exploit mobility in your gameplay? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.